is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D second edition podcast ever.
Mike is getting ready to put out his, well, I'll save that for the show.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. Hiya, folks. THACO's Hammer, Splat Book number 92. This is a thievy kind of, skeevy kind of show. No, thievy kind of show. We're always skeevy. What?
No. Sorry, my bad, 93.
We're on show 93?
Yeah, 93.
Oh my god, we've been doing this way too long. I mean...
We've been at it for 3 years.
3 years of this?
Yeah, 3 years.
Way to steal the headline, Brian. Welcome
to bury
THACO's Hammers, show 93, The Thieves Guilds.
There it is, folks. I'm DM Glen, and your announcer, DM Full On Gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation.
And, of course, DM Brian in the background.
Yeah, he certainly got the voice for it.
Yeah, he sure does. And DM Corey, our lovable guy.
I love you too, Glenn. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another show of me embarrassing myself.
Yeah, and we're kind of skeevy.
No, this is Steve stuff, not Bard stuff. You have knowledge.
Oh,
sucker punch.
Let the man win one trivia game, and he's throwing jabs. See how it is?
I've won 3 trivia games in a row, and I'm not that smart. Mike.
That's because you're not chaotic neutral. There's a difference.
How do you be chaotic neutral and be in the military? How does that work?
Just because you take orders doesn't mean you need to follow them.
Yeah. You'll never know when you're going to be promoted then.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez. Wow.
Oh, boy. So we're all doing good. Let's go to Hits and Grits.
Well,
one thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
So?
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate. Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and Crits.
Hits and Crits. Brian, what have you been doing this week?
Oh, I've
2 weeks, whenever.
Yeah, we took a week off for, everybody was kind of scattered to the 4 winds over last week, so...
Crom laughs at your 4 wins.
Yeah, Crom laughs. Very well done. Yeah, I've just been delving back into this, and I'm holding up my copy of Tangle Manor, which...
I got that copy of Tangle Manor, too.
Yeah.
What the hell's Tangle Manor?
Tangle Manor. It's an old Judges Guild module that
Game Science re-released.
Yeah, re-released it and actually expanded on it, and I'm going to be putting that in my campaign.
The Funhouse Dungeon, okay.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Wait, which campaign? Our campaign?
Whatever campaign I happen to be running at the time.
God. Okay.
Hey, Full-On's already thrown down the gauntlet. He wants Castle Amber, so I'm going to give it to him.
I want Castle
ask for
Amber.
that. That was him.
I asked for Castle.
I'll just play in it, but I've done my own damage to it, so okay, whatever.
Going back for the doppelganger, huh? Okay.
Hey, I had the USS Nimitz, the SDF-1, and Mecha in that thing, so...
Nimitz?
Oh,
yes.
God, jeez, I forgot about that. So let's see. Yeah, so I'm adapting that to second edition rules. It's a bit of a slow going because the encounter table for the entire manor is a D100 chart, and it's all of the Rump family. Yeah, that's their last name, and it's all versions of except for 2 instances, it's all undead. So I'm porting over stats and converting them over and doing all that.
I'm right at home with that.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun little thing if you guys actually get around to doing that.
So if I make a necromancer who's really into controlling the undead as opposed to creating or just fiddling with them, I can name him Rumpshaker.
Oh, wow! Oh, man. He's shot out of a cannon today.
No, mortar.
Yeah, 120 millimeter howitzer. My God.
Actually, if it's a whole family called the Rump family, then I'm just going in as a freaking evoker and I'm making a rump roast. Fireball.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. There's the Corey we know and love.
This is why I'm a good host, folks. This is why I'm a good host, folks. I let the kids play. Oh, boy. How about you, Corey? What's up? What you doing?
Been working on my campaign world. Just finished a very large Uber battle. At the end battle, the big bad evil guy. The group decided to go into the abandoned castle and take out the Githyanki contingency battalion that was camped out there on the prime material. And in the meanwhile, somehow they not accidentally, on purpose, released a demon that was in a large thaumaturgical circle. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was a mistake. And then on top of it all, everybody knows, you guys know that I've been vaping, and one of the stores in town here, I'm going to be doing a mural on their wall. So I've been doing a lot of pencil work. It's called Stars and Stripes, so I get to draw George Washington and Abraham Lincoln with a vape.
Oh,
vaping
Corey?
Yeah.
Right on.
Considering what you just told us about our game, should I tell you that we did a snipe hunt last episode about the Githyanki?
No, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, turned out pretty well.
Sorry, I was absent.
I think we called it. I think we called the Gith of the Yankee.
No more Githy in my Yankee. The donger need food.
Something like that. Full on. What's up?
I just got done with a road trip where I was LARPing Car Wars for 6 days on the road under direct fire for 4th of July weekend. Here to Boston and back, I made sure that Cthulhu made it to the East Coast, New England, where he belongs, and back.
Mm-hmm. Cthulhu's the new car?
Yeah, that's nice. That Dodge Magnum he has.
So, Cthulhu has returned to New England, and then he has returned to the heartland of America, so huzzah. Intact and as dark as ever. But then, on top of that, we backed successfully Kickstarter for Mega Dungeon 3, and I have been perusing through the first outrush of trophy stuff for the King of the Kickstarter package of all the PDFs of everything that you're going to get hard copies of shortly. And, good stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is basically all of the first, second, and third Mega Dungeon Kickstarters, plus a bunch of other stuff as add-ons and stretch goals, because they did real good. They wanted 3,000, and they did like almost the 17,000.
Awesome! Wow, they almost sextupled their goal. Awesome.
Yeah.
Look at you with your math.
Yeah, it took me a second though. There was a time where I could go all the way up into like times 18 and 19 and 20.
I would have did that, but I don't have that many fingers.
Got to use your toes.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm an artist. I don't math too good.
Don't math.
I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that.
Hey, Glenn.
Yo.
What have you been doing this week?
I don't remember. Did I tell you about the Mutant Future game I ran? I think I did.
Yes, that was last episode.
Okay. Had a lot of fun with that. We're gonna I don't know when we're gonna wrap that up sometime in the near future. Let's see, Saturday or rather Sunday, I was in my friend Jimbo's basement with Jimbo and Matt, and we were cleaning out his basement. Then we went over to Home Depot, got the stuff. Matt made a table. We do have a basement gaming room now at Jimbo's house.
Nice.
And he's going to christen it by running 5E.
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt on every single one of these. And I said, you're going to take some hits on it on the podcast. He says, yeah, okay. No,
I'd like to actually
he cares.
I'd actually like to
Yeah.
take a moment and talk about that for our
Okay.
listeners too. I don't know if
Well,
everybody out there. Well, I was going to wait till you guys are done. Brian, you haven't said what you're doing.
Well, yes, he did.
Yes, I did. I was first.
See what happened.
But
Out of practice.
anyway, that's what I did for basically the group. So we're going to do the 5e. I read the rules and I skimmed over them, and there's at least one mechanic I thought is neat that I'd like to adapt to D&D. I want to do Tunnels and Trolls, but I can't figure out how to adapt this to Tunnels and Trolls, so it'll have to be D&D. The advantage-disadvantage thing they do in there.
Well,
It's basically like you have it's like instead of doing pluses or minuses, they say you have the advantage of this or he has the advantage of this, and you roll 2d20, and if you have the advantage, you take the higher roll.
This is very much flavored a conversation when you're talking about the Fantasy Flight games Star Wars.
They do the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
It determines what kind of dice pool you're dealing with. And
Right,
it's narrative dice. It's
So
a
if you
narrative
ha-
dice game mechanic element where you choose to, make things better or worse, and it can add whatever the DM says is supposed to be added to your die pool as a result of that to see what your results are going to be. And
Gotcha.
you roll for achieving advantages, disadvantages, successes versus not successes. They cross-cancel each other out and what,
Okay.
who knows what.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun, especially with gaming.
For those of our audience listening, WotC has released a free version of the boiled down rules for you to be able to
basic D&D rules.
Yes.
correct. They are
But it's
free
not
for download as a PDF. It is definitely not complete, but yeah,
It will
just
not
so-
be completed until about November, I think, when the last book comes out.
right.
They're
But-
be putting out PDF supplements for it.
So are you going to be? I take it your player, your DM is going to be using that, or is he actually buying the book?
He bought the starter set already.
Oh, okay.
And he has plans on buying the books. And I told him, I will download the PDFs. I will even print out the PDFs, but I'm not buying the books. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
I
looked through the
if I have to play it, I will do that.
I will say I looked through them. I read them pretty extensively, and I just found it amazing that WotC needed to let everybody know that they needed to know that you were allowed to play a cross-gendered or a genderly ambivalent
elf. Got it.
Yeah, an elf. Yeah, androgyny, and it's like, really, you don't need to tell us this, but I guess thanks. I don't get it, but there's parts of second edition in there. They took proficiencies out and calls them skills, like third edition. Feats are in there, and on top of it, you can add surges from fourth edition. So it looks like they took
That's
a little
the first
bit of,
thing to go.
Yeah, it looks like they took second, third, and fourth, fed it to a rhino, and what came out was England. I mean, was
whoa.
I quoted Bill the Butcher.
Yes, you did.
I cross-posted that to my gaming group group on Facebook, and Matt basically said you were wrong. But I will leave it at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Well, that's because no offense to Matt, but he's got a shine on for it, and I'm being polite when I say that.
Yeah.
So of course, it's going to say Corey's wrong.
It's fine.
Now that's all right. I mean, if he wants to be a 5e apologist, that's up to him.
Yeah, exactly. His money.
Yeah. Also, today I took the kids to Lake of the Arbuckles so they could swim, and I'm kind of tired. What else have I? Oh, I've been redoing my map for my D&D / Tunnels and Trolls world by hand. Yes, yeah, I got a bloodhound. Come on, Lady Bird, let's draw.
Yes, Fred. Anyway,
Belvedere, bring
come
me
here, boy.
Yeah, Hank, that dog does fine work.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
I like it too. I'm going to hang it in my garage. I've been redoing that because I want to get I want to get them up and running on Tunnels and Trolls so I can practice for the next convention.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how you do it. You play test for a year. That way, when it's conference time, you're comfortable.
So it's going to be first at the con, I'll do the first session of the Cattle Drive series.
Cool.
And we're going to have fun with that. And I'd like to shout out to Mark at Creative Mountain Games. He did a thing like me on my page and on Creative Mountain page, and I'll send you a PDF. And he sent me a really nice PDF called 30 Things Can Happen. And I like the way it's set up, and I recommend Creative Mountain Games. They got some really good stuff there. I like 30 Things That Happen because it's just like a random 30 things in different places. And what he did was he broke it into three. Each page he broke it into 3 tables of 10. So you can use a D10 if you just want a specific thing. You can use a D20 or a D30, which is kind of cool.
D10.
Wow.
There you go.
There's a game that actually utilizes the D30. Awesome.
Hey, Big Fat Dragon, not Big Fat Dragon Games. It's something big. They just won the 3 Castles Award at the con. Does 2 books of D30 charts, and they're doing more. If you go on their site, you'll find D30 tables. They're big proponents of D30. Big Fat Dragon Games, I think they're called. I'm going to get it wrong. I know. I'm sorry, guy. I can't remember who wrote it.
Y'all come on down now to Big Ass Dragon Games. We're going to show you how to really get a game on.
We got dice. We got charts. We got them there battle mat thingies.
All of a sudden, the show turned into...
You just go down to Dr. Walter. He'll tell you how to get where you need to be.
Yes, turned into American Pigs really fast.
Yeah, this show turned into Crazy Eddie's. Well, I'm crazy.
It's new Big Dragon Game, not Big Fat Dragon Game.
See? Oh, Glenn, way to go. Awesome.
Yeah, ain't I good? Hey, that's what I've been doing. Do we have an email?
We have one email.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we can.
And it's a very short one, actually.
We can vent our spleen all on this one. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh boy, this one's going to be rather. Oh, I can't even use the term. All right. This is from DM Hubris.
Hi, Hubris.
Wow.
You got the word right, anyway.
Yeah, I did. He says, "Hey there. This is DM Hubris here. So you want a Vecna story? Well, here's one. I really don't want to read this, but I've already taken.
Oh yes.
Okay. One of my players.
And then he got him up. He got him at the table. She was really ready. She spread her legs. No, sorry. Was doing a Monty Python thing.
Actually, I wish it was like that. Okay. So you want a Vecna story? Well, here's one. One of my players found the Eye of Vecna in his cocktail in place of a maraschino cherry. Unfortunately for the player, he loves maraschino cherries. Suffice to say, the next 24 hours before his next bowel movement were very exciting for the party.
That's only just some minor malevolent effects for having the artifact in your presence. He didn't, integrate it the proper way. Or didn't pop out of his forehead like a third eye.
Or
pop out of his brown eye as an extra eye.
We'll talk about the great.
So that's actually how. So that's actually how William Wallace shot lightning out of his ass.
Yes, something like that. P.S. As an aside, I find it handy to cast an illusion with permanency on a crypt thing. Might as well fill your dungeon with celebrities and have the party ping-ponging around the dungeon every other room. No.
How about in a crypt?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a crypt. Put a crypt thing in there? Yeah.
Maybe in a crypt?
Maybe in a crypt. That sounds like a commercial. We should do that.
Holy crap.
So your adventure is going to take you to a place that's also a temple and it's also a tomb. You think you might be encountering a few things there. Are you bringing a cleric? No? Okay. Bringing a thief? No? Okay.
Yeah, have fun with that. And that's all the emails we have. We have an empty email box.
Okay, folks, let's fill it up. That's THACOshammer@gmail.com.
Yeah,
or I guess you can call us.
The number is 1-405-806-0555.
Do we need to do the one? Do they need to do the one?
And you can also post to us on the forums for osrgaming.org or on d20radio.com.
Yes, that is right.
Dragon's Foot and other places.
Yep.
And
we are
Facebook,
on Facebook,
and Twitter,
and Tumblr.
Oh, we're on Tumblr now.
Yeah, I put us up on Tumblr.
Are we on Reddit?
Hey, I only have so many hours in a day.
And we'll be on Reddit as soon as I figure out how the hell Reddit works.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot figure out that place. I just can't. I don't know why.
Like I said a long time ago, I belong to way too many social networks.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Mm-hmm. All right, I guess we can move on to option package.
Which one is it? Let's choose. Choose wisely.
Maybe something bad. Maybe something good.
What the hell's going on out here?
That is a choice.
You chose poorly.
Option package. Okay, we are going to talk about the Complete Thieves Handbook, which I was really surprised that we hadn't done before. I thought we'd done this one.
Yeah, that's a shock. I could have sworn we did it, way back when, but we've done almost every other one of the class-specific handbooks except for this one.
That's right. It was put out in 89.
Yep.
1989. John Nephew, Carl Sargent, Douglas Niles are the main writers. Mm-hmm. Scott Herring edited it, and black and white art by George Barr, color art by Larry Elmore, John and Laura Lakey, and Robin Wood, typography by Gail O'Keefe. Corey, how's the art?
This is one of the first of the books that popped out here from the option package. I like the art. I mean, the separators that Easley did, it's good. One of my favorite pictures in here, and I don't know why it's not the best picture ever, but I still think it's freaking awesome.
Which one?
Is the swashbuckler, the thief swinging on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right on.
Actually, my favorite...
Actually, that's actually the dude on the boat. That's a smuggler picture.
Yeah.
Not a swashbuckler, but...
Sorry, yeah.
It's cool, though.
But it's a suave picture. So.
Yeah. It is suave.
Well, you don't have to go very far into the book to get one of the better storytelling pictures Larry Elmore's done. Yeah, which is on page 6, where a thief is trying to lure a couple of looking novice adventurers into an alleyway, except there's a is that a knoll?
I'd go as far as calling that a knoll. Yeah, that's a knoll.
Yeah, that's a knoll.
Yeah, small one.
A knoll.
It's either that or a wolfware.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, and that, I believe, was either on a supplement cover or a Dragon. It was a Dragon magazine cover. I don't know.
Probably.
I remember seeing it on something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a module.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a module. And that other one with the thief looking in the chest, that's definitely been that's a Dragon cover, right? Mm-hmm. The girl thief looking at the chest. Yep. Yeah. But hey, we know they recycle art all the time, so what the hell? It's good stuff.
Hey, good art. Good cycle.
All right. You want to play a thief? This is the book you get.
Yep, for sure.
I mean, if you're dealing with splat books, I mean, the old optional thing. But if you really want to go for the gusto, grab this and beat your DM over the head with it. I guess I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, you have everything from the actual.
Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I have a Boba fetish. It's the first thing that pops up when I read it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, considering all the posts you make on Facebook, I'm not shocked. But you've got wonderful tips on how to role play thieves, which we'll go into in a little bit more depth later. You've got you've got kits. You've got tons of kits.
Oh yeah.
And it explains kind of it fleshes out the thief in that he's not just a bunch of stealth stats. You have, like I said, you have the kits, you can create your own thieves guilds, there's equipment specific to the thief, in this thing. I mean, this
comes early enough in the Splat Book series where you feel that they've actually play tested this.
Yeah, for sure, because
nothing real unbalanced.
No, not at all. This is the second Splat book to be released. The first one, of course, was Fighters,
right.
Which of course needed it. And of course, the Thief needs this too because, how many players have we either DM'd or played with who want to completely throw the game into chaos by trying to pickpocket one of his adventuring companions?
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say chaos,
Yeah.
but just kind of throw a monkey wrench in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, because then it starts turning into player versus player conflict, and the game gets derailed, and
Right.
then it actually turns into a fist fight between the two players and all that.
Or at my table, somebody grabs a bottle of aspirin because they have a headache, and when this happens, then the other person gets a bottle of aspirin thrown at them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Now,
well,
one of the kits here is Adventurer, which is your standard level thief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You roll up. This is what you get when you roll up a thief in D&D.
Correct.
Because there's no advantages or no hindrances. It just tells you a little bit more about how to, what your weapons, what weapon proficiency, non-weapon proficiency.
How to be a utility sneaker who finds and removes traps.
Right.
Exactly. Which is the majority of thieves to begin with, but then you start wandering a little farther afield. I mean, you get something like the Assassin, which is the next one in line.
Right.
Which is actually pretty decent.
Which is the Return of the Assassin in 2E.
Yes.
And the return of the Acrobat from the old Thief Acrobat from
Yes.
They had
Unearthed
the
Arcanum.
off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I have. I actually have an NPC 13th level Acrobat. And he basically just runs an inn, but yeah, he used to cut a rather wide swath in his career. But I mean, yeah, it's the great thing about these kits is that you could take all the old stuff. They took all the old stuff out of 1E, like the Assassin class and like the Thief Acrobat class, and they pared it down so that it's just basically a kit, and right. It's a good thing, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I prefer kits. As far as any of the other editions for D&D, which I am not edition bashing here on THACO's Hammer, we don't edition bash. We respect any and all versions of Dungeons and Dragons. That being said, second edition for me, I think did classes best because you still have your main canopy of your default classes, and then they go into specifics under each one. I don't think there needs to be 87 classes, but I don't mind if there's 5 classes and each one of those classes has a bunch of kits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. For sure.
And just in case you want to make your own class and the kits aren't enough for you, they gave you the option to do that in the option books.
Yes, they did.
That's
Skills
right.
and powers, build your own class.
Yep.
That's right. I'm one here that I find really interesting that I probably want to play is the Troubleshooter.
Mm-hmm.
Troubleshooter.
Yep.
Troubleshooter, spy, investigator. These are very, very good.
These are the
line things, other than the swashbuckler, which of course the swashbuckler's so nice they gave it to you twice. You have a fighter swashbuckler, you have a thief swashbuckler, and they didn't even bother trying to rename it. They just said, you got one of each, here's the kit.
For sure.
Yeah, but the other 3 you mentioned is the classic case of it takes a thief to catch a thief.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Wasn't that the Robert Wagner TV show back in like the 60s?
Yeah, it takes a thief, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a movie
Sometimes
To Catch a
the
Thief.
Best good guys are bad guys.
I only watched that one called To Catch a Predator.
That's something completely different.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Not a lot of people in the pleasure realm want to go for beggars.
Now, troubleshooters, they say dwarves and demi-humans are more prone to take this kit, which is good because at first I thought of like a human thief troubleshooter working with a dwarven engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To beat on whatever he made, the hall, the abode, whatever he made, beat on it until it breaks, basically, he's telling him.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll find out how and why.
Yep. Yeah, those are the ones who actually go through a castle and actually perform a raid on the castle, right. And obtain raid the vault or whatever, and come out and walk up to the king and drop his valuables right in front of him and saying your security is terrible and here is why. And dare I say Hudson Hawk? Yeah. Sure. There you go.
Heck, you could play Leverage with this book alone. You didn't need to wait for D20 to come out with the Leverage game book.
Agreed. Right. Yeah, because you've got all the different types.
Grifter, swindler, hitter, thug.
Yep.
Mastermind.
Troubleshooter
or investigator.
Yeah, for sure.
My favorite would be to go with what Glenn said about the thief and the dwarven engineer, and have the dwarven engineer become a master smith and make locks. And what he does is he literally makes the locks only work for a certain amount of time, and then they break. And then they have to hire the troubleshooter to go pick the locks open that
And they
are
can,
now
and
broken.
and dwarven kingdoms can also hire troubleshooters to test out their mines.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just to test out whether the bracing they have. Yeah, exactly. Right. Whether the bracing is going, is good or not. The dwarven engineer can help.
Now, the thing that bothers me about this kit is the advantages and the hindrances are kind of left up to the DM.
Yeah, see,
it's a Murphy's Law thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's more because this is one of the early ones. They've kind of got they got the balance right later on in the Splatbook series. The first couple ones, yeah, I think so.
I think that these first couple ones are actually quite muted, and if dare I say it, more balanced than say, I don't know, the Elven Handbook.
When they started making it so you had to have an advantage and you had to have a disadvantage for absolutely everything in order to characterize why you were allowed these goodies.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
what's the point? It went a little too far in some cases.
Because
mine was actually pretty reasonable. There are things where you've got a set of proficiencies, maybe you've got maybe a couple bonus recommended things, but some of them even have no hindrances, no bonuses other than what you get for your class. You get some gear and you get a proficiency and a role-playing target of opportunity to wrap your head around, which is all you really need.
Yeah,
right.
And yeah, I agree with that. And the thing is that at least the way I look at it, there are very few actual kits that had really good balance. I think it's like I said with the earlier kits, some are, in at least the earlier splat books, some of them were hit and miss, but I think they kind of got it right. And I will take the Elven Handbook and set that aside because we've had our discussion about that.
Blade Singer. Sorry, what?
Well,
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly, but I'm not taking that bait. Sorry, but I mean, the good thing about these thief kits is that aside from there were a lot the advantages and disadvantages. At least to me, they weren't as much game based as they were role playing based. I'm looking at the scout and for example, they suggest that in order for the scout to be, they suggest to the player that the scout max out his hide and shadows, move silently, and hear noise, and then move his other skills up slowly. I mean, I hate to use the word because it has sort of a negative connotation to me, but they give you good suggestions as how to build the class with the kit so that you're able to do what you need to do, and in this case go out and be the point man. Excuse me. But as I was saying, I think there's not quite enough, at least for my taste. I know you disagree, Corey, but for my taste, there's not enough in-game sort of give and take. There is some, but at least to me, it's not quite enough. That's my only dissatisfaction with this book. Otherwise, it's one of the better ones.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You are totally allowed your own opinion, even if it's wrong.
Thank you. Didn't someone say that to you later?
Let's go into what else we got in these goodie books. I mean, they break down the thieves' skills very nice.
Yes.
How they deal with other people. Thieves in the law, thieves and merchants, thieves in other guilds.
Yep. And
how
the
classic cons, the art of deception, which is really nice.
For sure. And that was stuff that, at least to me, this is stuff that they could have used in the previous edition to kind of flesh thieves out. I mean, some of this stuff, or at least some of it in a different was made differently or by a different person, was in the various Dragon magazines, but this handbook is what this is what the splat books are about at their base. It's not just taking the class and breaking it down to its core components and saying, okay, this, and this, and you can alter this and change that and give this and take away that, but it also says, okay, this is what most thieves, this is what most their mindsets are. This is why they do what they do. This is how they got into what they do. And they give you the tools to role play a thief, at least, I hate to use the word because it's subjective, but role play it correctly. Instead of, just the kleptomaniac who decides to steal from everybody,
Right.
And also, I mean, to me, the most useful part, aside from the kits in this book, is the actual chapter they have on thieves' guilds.
Pages 51 through pages 59.
Oh, no, longer than that.
Well, yeah, it goes a little more.
It goes into the 90s.
Can I
Go ahead.
Can I add something here to this book, which anybody out there listening to this who's flipped through this book maybe saw it when it first came out and they're like, they don't, they haven't seen it. Again, you're playing a thief. You have somebody in your thief group that's a thief. You need to give them this book again because there's one thing in this thing I have found that I love.
Which is?
The freaking definitions for the thieves' cant.
Yes.
They go into some of the keywords. Now, I remember back in one of the Dragon magazines, there was a pullout of like 5 pages that if you pulled out of the Dragon, you could fold down to a mini booklet, and it was like a bunch of pages. I still have it. I got to find it and dig them out, and I'll give you guys copies. But it's like it was a whole thieves' cant dictionary. My one buddy read it, and like when he came back to the table in 2 weeks, he was literally sitting there when he was role-playing and just going through thieves' cant to the point where I was like, what the hell did you just say? It's awesome to hear somebody go off in the thief can, and even if as a thief you just use that and you just drop one or two words from the definition of in the dictionary there, it will add flavor to your role play to the point where people are like, holy jeez,
exactly.
They also talk in this book. I'm sorry, they got new rules for thieves if you want to use them about poison incentives, animal assistance, healing, mugging, advanced locks and traps, designing a thieves guild.
Yeah, that's
which I know you can also use with other books, but it's a you want to play a thief, but when I got full out on my table playing a thief, I just throw this book out the window because I'm not going to need it.
What?
Yeah, because
I didn't do much I did like nothing thiefy, except for a couple treasure divisions. Because they let me.
Oh, that you failed. That you failed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
no, you were an awesome thief, just like you're an awesome half-orc swashbuckler. So
I wasn't even swashbuckling that thief. He was a thug.
I know he was. I know. who learned to fly.
See,
sleep.
Hello, I pick your pocket.
See, my whole.
Now I pick your pocket.
Yeah. If I ever get to role play an actual thief, but my problem is that I want to actually multi-class him with other things, but I haven't played a legit straight thief in a long time, but my whole thing was I always wanted to role play a thief like Richard Pryor in Silver Streak. One of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I loved him in that movie. But, the whole thing is that in the beginning, you've got new proficiencies for thieves, which is something that absolutely needed to happen. And they break down some of the general proficiencies, in the context of for thieves, and it's awesome. I mean, it's just really good stuff. And like I said, if I'm going to rank this among all the Splat books, this is top 5 easily.
Top drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
We like it. Check it out. You can find
lots
it.
Of goodies,
a lot of
gear,
places.
Lots of stuff. Lots of stats. Lots of crunch. Lots of character.
Yep.
All the good bits.
Yep.
And MSRP in the day, $15.
Yep. The Splat books were $15.
You will probably find them at half price for about $8.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the more.
This is more common. Yes.
Yeah, you could probably find one for.
I mean, this is going to be probably one of your most used.
Well, we're squishy and expendable, so they had to have lots of these on hand for all the replacements.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, see, the one I have here.
I got kind of a beat up
second printing. Believe it or not, I got a second.
I got kind of a beat up one with some scars on it. That's the way it came. I don't like the reprints with the glossy stuff on there.
That was my very first Splat book, a very first complete book I bought.
Really?
Yep, that's the very first complete that I bought. That I purchased with money.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
So you thievy, you're playing the thief right there, Corey.
Yeah, the one that I did steal. I mean, borrow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Walden Books. I'm sorry.
Tell us about it. THACOshammer@gmail.com. Let's go on to people's skills.
Wish we have time to bury them fellas.
Hell with them fellas. Buzzards gotta eat, same as worms.
How can you shoot women, children? Easy. You just don't lead them so much. Ain't war hell?
When shall I find a new adversary so close to my own level?
Try the local sewer.
People skills. People skills. All right, let's get down and dirty. Role playing a thief.
Okay. Well,
yep. We got full on Stug. We've got Brian's. How do you do it?
Oh, well, let's see. Most thieves. Well, you've seen how I do it. I mean, at least from the NPC standpoint. Most of the thieves I have, unless I really decide that I'm going to play a thief that's just literally out for himself, and he's gonna be like a combination between Tasselhoff, Burrfoot, and Vegeta, if you can get that combination. Usually, most of the thieves I've run have been team players, and they don't steal from the party unless it's something they literally cannot resist. And more often than not, most of the thieves I play are either neutral or neutral good. And, they're just circumstances have forced them to thievery. They found out that they're good at it, and they're just like, I want to get rich. I just want to live the high life, and adventuring's the quickest way for me to do it. So
you're playing Walter.
From
Breaking Bad.
Oh, jeez.
Only substitute meth lab for thieves' tools.
Well, slightly less badass, but yeah. Exactly.
I do a lot more than the thug. I do swashbucklers a lot. I do spies. I do investigators. I've run the gamut before they came out with the book, trying to do everything else with a thief. Lots of neutral goods, lots of chaotic goods and chaotic neutrals. I've even swung the lawful neutrals because I've done the secret agent type spy person, doing the James Bondian thing with the feather in the cap and a dagger in the back. I like multi-classing a lot. Doing the fighter thieves, ranger thieves, and wizard thieves.
Now I've forgotten about Brian's game. No, Brian's game. Is your character playing a thieving swashbuckler?
Fighter.
That's okay. Fighter swashbuckler.
Oh yeah, full-on's playing a fighter with the swashbuckler.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it works the same. It works out the same. How about you, Corey? How do you play him?
I've played bounty hunters, obviously. Rough and tumble. I've gone with the fences. I've even done the reluctant adventurer, who is a city padlock cut purse, who got escorted out of town and is not allowed back in. So he decided, hey, look, there's a fighter and a cleric and a mage headed off to a dungeon. I'm gonna just tag along with them. I'll survive longer. Yeah, you pretty much name it. I've probably either played or have come up with character idea for each one of the kits that are in there and or personalities.
Yeah, oh, sorry, I just completely forgot what I was about to say, but go ahead, Glenn. Edit!
Go ahead, Glenn.
I just forgot
I had more.
Oh. Well, we're asking you, since you asked us, how do you play them?
True. Well, you've seen me a couple of ways.
Have I?
I've done a gnome thief in the basic game. That was kind of fun.
Oh, wasn't Harrius on Thunderson a thief?
He was a thief.
Okay.
He was a thief. My gnome, the hillbilly gnome, the swamp gnome, was a thief. And so he was crazy. As crazy as a hoot owl thief. But Thunderson was kind of more subdued and laid back and like, okay, I'll pick your lock. I'll just sit back and watch what happens.
Right, exactly.
Type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're very good at being the party's eyes and ears.
Yep, which is probably the best role for them to have when they don't have a trap or a chest in front of them.
Right, and then with the right kit from, say, the Thieves Handbook, they can very much be the face of the team.
Yeah, if his charisma's high enough, sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always have to be the cleric, you know.
No, or the bard.
Again, goes with saying and reminding and re-saying one more time that to be a functioning member of the team, someone that can, survive in the party, you're squishy. So don't steal from the party. Don't say things like, oh, I found the trap, I disarmed the trap, but he's a dick, so I'm going to rearm the trap, and I'm going to let him open the trap and say, oop, I failed it.
That's a chaotic.
Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah, that's just chaotic evil thief for sure.
Yeah, my favorite.
Self-correcting party roster manipulator is not what a thief should be in your party.
What were you saying, Corey?
I like the my reluctant thief that I used to play, sort of like Riddick from the first Pitch Black movie. Hey, thief, check the hallway for traps. Looks clear.
Whack. I thought you said it was clear.
What's it look like? What's it look like now? Looks clear.
It's clear. Yep.
And remember, Conan was a barbarian.
Oh,
thief.
Yeah.
Barbarian thief. Cat burglar.
Buccaneer.
Which is a dual
Cat burglar and a buccaneer. Yeah.
Oh, actually in Conan. In Conan, it was actually he was multi-class, believe it or not.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
That explained his wide range of skills that he could rely on throughout, all the stories that Howard told.
One thing he wasn't, a mage.
No.
Yeah, about the only thing he was a mage or a cleric, but he was everything else.
They do have a thug kid in here that would probably fit him too.
Mm-hmm.
Like subclass of thug, yeah.
I know when to steal and when not to. Malik, come on, Malik.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Malik's like, yeah, that's a D&D thief if there ever was one.
Oh,
for sure, without a doubt.
Why does the thief keep going off to the bushes alone and groaning a lot? You said there was nothing in the treasure box. I don't know.
But, the thief has to be kept... excuse me.
English
my
Glen.
throat.
Yeah.
Slip my throat. Unfortunately, so you all know, the thief has to be kept under wraps by the player, too, since to a certain extent, just like the paladin has to be kept under wraps to a certain extent, without going all zealot on everybody.
And you do have to, understand in the party what your role is and what your party's role is to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And understand, make sure it's clear up front. If, okay, I am not a pocket-picking kind of thief.
Mm-hmm.
I can walk on my hands up a rope in a 300-mile-an-hour wind covered in grease and still have a 98% chance of success, but don't ask me to pick somebody's pocket or hide in a shadow, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I can climb up a quarterstaff I plant in the middle of the room, grab onto the ceiling, pull myself up the ceiling, pull this pole up with me, and hide on the ceiling as people pass underneath.
Uh-huh.
But I'm probably not going to be finding traps for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If you have gone into a specialty realm of kit construction, especially when they started letting you customize how you outlay out your percentages to build the thief you want to be, then you have to make that an upfront knowledge. Okay, I'm the trap springer. I'm going to be under the gun a lot and, within short arm's reach of the cleric.
Right. Right, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
my games follow the rule of the rock. Know your role.
Yeah, know your role and shut your mouth.
Jabroni.
You just
we'll take that rule book, shine it up real good.
Turn it some bit sideways. Yeah.
Shove it up your...
Something about candy ass?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Anyway, tell us about it, folks, how you run thieves at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Now, elaborating on that, we'll go into Rule 0.
Am I the only one around here who gives a about the rule?
Hey, rules are, there ain't no rules.
Hey! Ladies! That was fun!
thank you for a very enjoyable day.
Rule 0.
Rule 0. Okay, thief abilities, what they can and can't do. Full on started to hit on stuff like, building and what thieves can and do. I figure we're mainly talking about the thief skills that they get.
For sure.
Yes.
Picking pockets, climbing walls, moving silently, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
Okay.
And
now you have a set.
Now, as a matter of fact, I'm in the middle of looking for the Dragon magazine that I know can cover it a little better. But usually, see, the thing that I run into more than anything else as a DM is when someone's playing a thief and because he's hiding in shadows, that somehow he can still sneak up on somebody. Now, that requires 2 skill rolls. At least 2. Minimum. Bare minimum.
At least 2.
At least
unless you have magic items. Yeah, just a bear thief by himself.
And a quarter movement.
Exactly. And that's what you saw. That's what you saw in the Hammers of the Duchy game. The thief. That's why my thief character's like, I will forego my share of the treasure. I want that ring. And once he put that on, he was trying to backstab the big bad while you guys were being swamped by his frontline forces.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. That, strategy and tactics, that kind of thing. And he actually got, if I remember right, I think that was session 10, but I think he got it, but his damage was like negligible because I think I rolled a 1 for it, which is unfortunate. But
it was fortunate. That was when you fumbled and backstabbed me.
Did I?
Somebody did. Somebody did.
Oh,
I think
that
it was
last
me.
session.
Yeah.
But getting back to
a lot of people got
go ahead.
Stabbed. They shouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you're the one who decided to run and be surrounded by 8 people.
Hey, I'm not going to let Full On have all the fun.
Wow. Just like I said, major cojones for that.
No, I just have to do the cleanup for you.
Yeah. The swashbuckler.
Clean up in aisle 3. The dwarf fell down again. Go get the cleric.
But anyhow,
and Corey's character kicking butt even though he's not there.
Exactly.
That's how awesome he is. He just kicks butt without me even being there.
Hey, first attack he made, yeah, a picture perfect flying kick for triple damage. Anyway, we digress. Now with pickpockets is probably the one skill that has the most utility, and it's not just for walking up to somebody and cutting cutting open their purse string and taking valuables and things like that.
It's also the first one you think of when you think of Weasley players who try to do it to other party members.
Oh, of course. Mm-hmm. And that's when, of course, because and when it comes to those kind of roles, I'm going to roll it as the DM. That way, only when the result comes out, whether he did it or he didn't quite do it or he botched it and got noticed.
So here's a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
And this is because it comes up often in the games that I've been stuck in, on either side of the screen.
Okay.
When you're having the thief who goes to pickpockets and they blow their roll, where do you draw the line on they successfully picked a pocket, but they did not get, or they got noticed, or they failed to pick the pocket completely and didn't get noticed, or failed to pick the pocket completely and got noticed? There's all kinds of different things in there. Plus, say they are using their pickpockets in combat as a modified kind of disarm, they're going to take the wizard's magical components so that he doesn't have them at hand to cast spells or steal the wand from his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a disarm attempt. And sometimes I don't care if I did it or not. I'm going to do it with this skill set.
Well, full on. It's funny you should ask that, because I found somewhere on the internet years and years ago, I don't know if it was a Dragon article or somebody modified it or whatever, but there is a nice little article they wrote about what happens when your thief borks a roll on his skills, and it covers all 5 of them.
Right.
Like picking pockets. Of course. The rule by the book is if you roll 95 or higher, your attempt is noticed. Anything else is just a failure. But it's one of these things where, pickpockets. And if I'm not mistaken, there's also a chance for the person to notice based on the person's level.
There's the level difference chart in the sidebar on page 56.
Right.
That's one adjuster to who can notice who.
Right, and that way, and see, that also gives a modicum of suspense.
The 3 times the target's level subtracted from 100 is the base percentage chance for them to notice a pickpocket, successful or otherwise.
Right, which of course means that no matter how good you are, there's a chance you can still do it, but as you're pulling your wrist out, your wrist gets caught. He grabs your wrist away.
Totally down with Jackie channing the wand out of the mage's hand so he can't go, Chromatic Orb at me. Corey.
Yeah, Corey.
Yeah. I've never had that problem. Every time I've had a player play a thief and it's combat time, no thief has ever said, I'm going to sneak around and just steal his crap on him.
I'm going to walk up to his face. I'm going to step him on his toe. I'm going to punch him in the neck with a dagger. And while he's distracted by that, I'm going to lift the friggin' artifact from his finger so he can't summon Cthulhu.
Everybody wants to sit back and shoot a bow.
Yeah,
or sneak around and backstab.
Yeah, because
they don't think while they're back there. Let me quick do a.
Yeah, thieves are squishy. They have to be sneaky. Most thieves that I've ever if I've run straight thieves, not fighter thieves, because if I run a fighter thief, I do things completely different. But if I run a regular thief, they're going to be more often than not fire support. And every once in a while,
they're flankers. That's what they're for.
That's exactly it. They'll either be they're opportunists, is what how I play them. Either they'll be the fire support, or they'll actually try and sneak around, or at the very least try to flank the enemy. So they give them another target to worry about, while the big beefy fighter up front in the plate mail gets to bash on him when he turns to deal with the thief.
Right.
That's how you do tank and spank. You distract something so that no one person's taking every hit.
Exactly. Yeah. Wolf tactics.
Tank and spank.
Tank, yes.
Spank. Yeah, tank.
I love it.
It is.
That's the first skill.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk locks.
Okay.
What it can and can't do.
Okay. Now with opening locks, I mean, it's self-explanatory, of course. Now this article I have goes in. This goes in stages. It's like it goes in 10 percentile increments. Like if you miss an open lock roll by 10 to 19%, the lock jams, rendering it unpickable at that level of experience, which is normal. And it just goes up from there. Like the next stage, if you blow it by 20%, the lock jams on the picks, rendering the picks useless, needing to be replaced. Now that screws the lock and your picks. You miss it by 30%, the tools break. Let's see, 40% or worse, the lock is permanently jammed, which, then of course your fighter basically has to spend X amount of rounds breaking the lock and also, running the risk of wandering monsters coming around.
Now,
how often have you had thieves try to use their open lock skill to not open locks, to close locks?
There's
like to lock the doors behind us instead of spending 10 minutes beating on an iron spike that the entire dungeon will hear being in place.
I like that idea. See, that's actually kind of cool. And you want to know what? In my 33 years of playing this game, no one's ever tried that, including myself. Instead of spike, everyone's like, okay, we'll just spike the door closed. No, the thief can. That's genius. I love that idea.
Now, when you were talking about if the thief succeeds and stuff like that, I sent each of you a PDF of the Dungeon World Guide, which is a mechanic that would really fit into D&D in general, but specifically with thieves, because it's basically you roll 2d6, and there's no bad thing on the table.
Right.
You succeed with a problem, and the other one is you succeed, but you got a really big issue.
Yeah, you break your picks or something like that.
Like you roll 6 or something like that, you succeed. You roll the second set of numbers, you get the lock open, but you broke your pick.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You broke the lock, and now it can't be relocked, and everyone will notice when they start messing with it. You leave evidence that, hey, this lock was jimmied, and it doesn't work anymore.
Right.
I'm suspicious there may have been thieves here.
Right, and the third one is you open the lock, but you just alerted 2 monsters down who can really hear really good, like say giant bats, click for them to come. So you succeed in these, but it's the degree of success.
Yeah, but you succeed, but now you have circumstances.
It's a success with complications.
Yeah.
Basically, which I really like, especially for thieves, because they do that kind of stuff all the time. You know, they're always like, "Did they succeed? Did I hide in the shadows?"
Well, there are also the things where some of these skills the thief shouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
It's kind of obvious to others if they succeeded or failed to hide in shadows or move silently, but not necessarily to the thief. As far as you know, oh yeah, you're hiding in shadows really good, Bob.
Yeah.
Right there in the moonlight on the fence posts for God and country. But yeah, sure, you're hiding in shadows.
Okay. No, I can't remember how many times that our thief wanted to disarm the trap, and Matt rolls, and he just goes, "You're absolutely certain you disarmed that trap?"
Yeah, and then you find out you didn't.
And 9 times out of 10, he did, but there's that one time, you know,
one time in thief camp.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Since we're talking about finding and removing traps, now that is a DM's role, straight up, and it always should be.
Yes.
You know, because
what if it's your trap?
What do you mean?
I use find and remove traps to make a trap, to emplace a trap, to set a trap for others.
Oh, if you don't have set snares or something like that, I give you like half of your skill to do that. Sure.
That would make a good scenario for a game where you go in through this dungeon or mine or whatever with the guy who built it or built all the security measures and stuff because there's something wrong. You know,
no, you're playing Dungeon Keeper is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What I'm saying is you go through with the engineer or whoever did this, and it's like, okay, something screwed this up. I may be able to get into like 75% of the rooms, but 25% something happened to them or somebody went through and messed things up. So you got to help me come fix it.
And again, you got to remember some basic concepts of traps. There's going to be 3 flavors of traps. There's going to be the traps that are meant to keep something out. There's going to be the traps that are meant to keep something in.
And then?
Either one of those are something that are meant to be passed.
Right.
They're designed for utility.
Right.
And then there are the traps that serve no purpose other than to make you dead. Yeah. Well, actually, there's the fourth flavor. One is to make you dead, and the other trap is to catch something.
Right.
So they're either going to be damage-producing, killing, or capturing, and the whole character of the trap needs to be designed around the function of where it is in the dungeon. Is this the dungeon designer's dead-end zone where it's a red herring and all it serves purpose is to kill characters? Or is it to sweep them out of the way until they can be policed up? Or is it actually a transited portion? Like, I need to get in and out of my vault to keep putting shit in my vault. I can't have 1,001 impassable death traps on my vault.
Right. And, you know, think back in the radio, Jack Benny and his vault. They did all that with sound. That door. They did all that with sound.
Yep.
Who goes there? Hi, Ed. Hello, Mr. Benny. Exactly. Is the Civil War over yet? But yeah, you're absolutely right on that, full on.
Okay. Go ahead.
And then, of course, mundane versus magical.
Well, of course, and which of course can be negated by a good spell filter.
50% of your normal thief skill check is your magical thief skill check.
Right. And that goes back to that kid. With the chart that I have in regard to finding and removing traps, you blow it by 10%. There's a 1 in 20% chance of it going off, and even if the trap is not triggered, the trap can't be removed. So that's fairly decent. You miss it by 20. Your tools get jammed. The tools are useless. Blow it by 30. The trap breaks the tools, and the trap has a 1 in 10 chance of going off.
There you go.
And if you miss it by 40% or worse, the trap has an automatic 1 in 6 chance of going off. Now, if you roll 95 or higher, the trap automatically goes off.
Yeah.
So, don't.
That's the part
don't
you don't want.
Exactly. Okay.
But you don't know if you bork your rolls because the DM's rolling it.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't know you borked your roll until the DM tells you borked it. Okay, climbing walls.
Well, there's more to the trap still, because among the character of dealing with it, aside from whether you found it or not, once they tell you found one, then you have to check again to see if you can do anything about it.
Yeah.
And doing something about it can be a number of things. Where and how do you describe and draw that line for, okay, you think you have actually disarmed this poison needle trap. You have this trap. You discover the trap. It's a poison needle. You think you've disarmed it. Okay, no problem. How did you do it? Did you do it by sticking the little piece of cork on there so it can't stick nobody? Did you snap it off? Did you just undo the mystical trigger, or whatever the mechanical whatever trigger is to stop it from being a threat, or what? And again, sometimes it's you set it off on purpose. Now that we know about it, knowing's half the battle, we can trigger this trap the safe way so that it functions, it does what it's supposed to do to not us, and then we go through the aftermath.
Right. As a matter of fact...
And sometimes that's easier than trying to beat it.
Well, maybe, but a lot of players don't think that way. You have a unique way of, going about these things, full on. I've noticed that.
Well,
which is why I'm happy you're not a thief.
Times. I asked the questions because I've suffered.
As a DM,
I've suffered.
Yes, I'm sure you have. That's why I'm happy you're not either a thief or a mage in my game, because
you look at Aurora's Whole Realms catalog. There's one thing that's in there that should be in every thieves kit, and that is acid.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
if you can't open the damn lock or something, hit it with acid. I suffer a few dollars more.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move on to climbing walls then. Now, this one, I can go either way as a DM. I can have my players roll it out, or I can roll it out. Most often than not, the players will roll it out.
This is the one roll the thief gets. Everybody else does a dex roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you want to know something with me? I do it I won't say old-fashioned way, but it is.
Hold up, guys.
DMG.
I'll be back.
Okay, go ahead. In the DMG, it gives all character classes except the thief a flat 40% chance to climb walls. Mm-hmm. Which is how I tend to do it, because I'm sorry, a dex roll is a little too easy, at least to me. Unless, you're dealing with average dexterity numbers.
Now, when you're playing with 3-5. Sorry.
Yeah, cross-class.
Hit the damage. Hit the CR. Thank you. No.
Exactly. But let's see. I mean, I'm looking at the chart.
All you got to do is have a 12 dex or higher, and a stat check is better than a thief's basic skill.
Exactly. Well, no. Basic
5% per, 60%?
No. A thief starts at 85, or starts at 60. No, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking like in other terms.
1E.
But, yeah, 1E exactly. But at the very least, start with 40%. If you want to be generous, give them their dex. But I kind of look askance at that because that's a little too easy for
not the whole dex, but maybe 5% per plus of their dex modifier. That'd be worth it.
Yeah, and you also modify it according to their dex exactly.
Yeah.
But and that 20, and of course, depending on how high you have to climb, why do you think that when you have to ascend a cliff, of course, the thief goes first because this is what they do?
we just dropped.
Now, what I wonder is why they don't have that on here.
What do you mean?
By the way, Table 28, Thieving Skill Dexterity Adjustments. They give neither strength nor dex any credence whatsoever in a person's climb walls check.
Yeah.
As in, they get Pickpockets gets a dex modifier, Open Locks does, Find Remove Traps does, Move Silently does, Hide in Shadows does, but climbing walls...
Well, that's because...
If anyone's ever done it,
I think
you need to be dexterous or you need to be strong or both.
I agree. But
what I usually do is when my thief is climbing walls, or there's a thief in my party, i.e. my girlfriend playing her character currently, and they climb walls, they get their percentile chance to roll to climb the wall focused on the wall. Mm-hmm. After 10 feet, they get another, or however much distance, they get another percentile check. Mm-hmm. If they fail it, they then must make a dex or a strength check to see if they hold on or they fall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I can see. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I was just
And
saying that's how
we've
I
done
use it.
I can see her.
We've done things in game where we've allowed thieves to like say, I'm going to do a hasty climb. I'm going to double my move rate for half of my chance.
Why? Oh my God, that's I hope they don't do that a lot, because that means usually they'll fall right off.
Sometimes they're in a hurry. Plus, this is another one of those skills where it behooves you to have a 155% climb walls chance. I know only 98% of it is actually worth a damn.
95, but yeah.
When you cut my chance in half, I still have a chance.
Right, and see, that's the argument that I've heard for some DMs who won't stop at 95% and they'll let them go into the hundreds, because there are certain situations where
thumbs up for that.
There are penalties that will knock that 110, 115, whatever it is, that score all the way down.
I saw a lot of that in 3rd edition.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of that.
In a way,
that's why it's a good idea. That's why we started doing it in 2E, and it carried forward as a good idea.
Right.
Go
ahead.
Is it?
No, I was just going to say I agree, because, I mean, you walk up to a wall, a brick wall or a stone-made wall of a castle, and you have a certain percentage chance to climb it. Mm-hmm. Okay, now add into the fact that you're being shot at by 15 guardsmen with bows or crossbows. Add in the fact that it's hasty. Add in the fact that it's raining, add in the fact that there's a strong side wind, and all of these things would lower that percentile chance than just going, okay, you have a 40% chance to climb the wall. It's not a normal wall in the middle of the day with no one's chasing you. There are factors that will take that lower. And I agree. You should. I agree to let them go over 100 percentile and then bring it down with minuses.
Yeah. I think climb in climb walls. Yeah, that should certainly be the case.
Although, from what Corey said earlier, I see your girlfriend's character going, be the wall. Be the wall. Be the wall. I can do it. Be the wall.
I'll tell you what, she said...
Thief acrobats were free runners before anybody else was. I'm just going to run up the wall.
Yeah, she's playing a thief, elven thief in the party, and they're literally using her as a walking lockpick, and she just sits back, chills out, watches everybody do their thing, and then when it's her time, they look at her and like, pick the lock. And damn it if she doesn't roll 004, 007, 01. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Hey.
And they're like, we'd accuse you of you cheating for your girlfriend, but she's doing the rolling. I'm like, I can't stop her.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as they don't use her as a 10-foot pole, you're fine.
Well, that was when I was living with a married couple when I first moved to Michigan. That was a frustrating thing, because my friend's wife, she was exactly like that. She was playing a mage in my game, believe it or not, and she's critting things left and right, because she's rolling 19s and 20s like you wouldn't believe. And I'm watching her dice, so I know she's not cheating, unless of course the dice were jimmied. But okay, consulting this little thief penalties thing, you blow it by 10. You're unable to continue. You have to descend 1 to 10 feet and try again, which means you have to relocate to find foot and handholds. Blow it by 20. Lose 1 to 4 feet of climbing distance. Blow it by 30. Like Corey said, make a strength check or hold on or you fall off the wall. Yep. And if you blow it by 40 or more, you make a strength check. If you make it, you lose 1 to 10 feet, and if you fail, you fall.
And a reason for strength to not be a dump stat for a thief is not only for those checks right there, but also the sudden thing where somebody else found the pit trap and the thief didn't. The thief is the one who has the better chance to use their climb walls check to save someone else from a fall.
That's
correct.
Right. Or save themselves from falling.
Exactly.
Or Spock has his boots of levitation on.
That's right.
Hey, I've had games where the pit trap got triggered and the thief held on to the lid.
Wow.
Nice.
Doink!
Wow.
Like a panicked cat.
I want to be wearing boots of feather fall in the dungeon in that case.
Exactly, for sure. But let's see. Okay, last one. Read languages. Now, that's fairly straightforward.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And,
unless it comes to alignment languages, then that's just stupid.
We're not playing first edition. They got rid of it, thank goodness. Because then you had everybody talking in alignment language. What did he say? Was he talking crap about me? Was he saying something about my mother? Yeah, I did. Seriously, I actually had that happen in game, and I'm like, I look at the player who's doing this. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Just because someone is conversing in a language you can't understand, you're going to go there? And yeah, it was an interesting night. But yeah,
I keep thinking of the B1 game at the con with with Zach from Whisper and Venom. Every time we run into a big bad, he go, "Can I choose my second language now?"
But
it's that one.
They downgraded the thief here
Mm-hmm.
to only use scrolls instead of the use magic device.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, well, yeah. The thief has always been able to use scrolls. I could
rule that.
Go ahead. What'd you say, Glenn?
I'll rule that out.
Mm.
You know, one, he has its merits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, a thief at temp level can only do it. So
yeah, true.
By the time you get to that point, it's
like, we'll talk when you get there. Yeah,
exactly. Because the thing is that, and I've seen this in some games where you're running high level characters, and a thief basically breaks out a scroll and starts to read it in a fight. Everyone else sees that and they're like, "Oh no," because there's a fairly big chance the thief is going to bork that.
Well, I think the nice thing about D&D is there's some things, most of the things you need to house rule usually come at higher levels.
I agree.
Because when you start, you just go, and stuff like that. Okay, they're not going to be there until 10, so I don't have to worry about it right now.
Right, exactly.
Worry about it when it comes to it, which is really
let's
nice.
put it this way. Yeah, if you're role playing with a thief and he starts to take an interest in magic user scrolls when they're found, look out.
Or they're full. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the thief's other big moneymaker then. Their last interesting ability.
Okay.
What?
The backstab. What it can do, what it can't, and what you at your table do allow it to do.
Okay.
I have some things.
There are
some
three
opinions on that as well.
There are three mechanics in D&D that always get either over-talked or controversial. One is not when do dwarven women have beards. That has nothing to do with it.
Not my.
Yeah, tell me about it. One is critical hits. One is hit location. And the other one is backstabbing.
Okay.
Everybody has their opinion on how to do a backstab.
Oh, don't.
And how much damage. And how much damage they do.
Oh yeah, that's the big debate, because unfortunately it was a rather murky thing about the damage, meaning did you roll your damage, multiply it, add your bonuses, or did you roll your damage, add your bonuses, and multiply it, which would make it a whole lot more deadly. Now the gold box games, which are official AD&D rules, was roll your damage, add it, multiply it.
Okay.
Because I've played games where I've backstabbed opponents for 176 points of damage.
That might kill Corey. Wow.
Yeah.
Mike.
Not if I'm drinking.
That's why other utility editions have gone to the sneak attack version of backstab, where it was just you get increasingly interesting added damage.
Yeah. Right. Which actually.
And you can do that as a different flavor by thief type. The baseline could be D6 sneak attack damage. Mm-hmm. You could say you're not so much the stabby thief and you get D4 damage, or I'm the hardcore assassin and I get D8 sneak attack damage.
Yeah. Right. All these are good because it makes it so damn hard to actually get into a position to backstab.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
There are other ways to do that. Like, for one, they talk about it is only in so let it be written, so let it be done by the bursts of armaments, page 57. The backstab can only be accomplished from the back of a creature who doesn't know you for your first attack, with only the weapons allowed, with only within melee range, and with only a creature that even has a back.
I don't have a problem with any of that. I mean,
I can't take an invisible thief.
I want more.
Of course you do.
I want to see.
What is a sniper? A sniper is a backstab.
I agree. I agree. Which is why I've always been debating for at least a couple of years to take the sneak attack and be able to make it ranged. What was that?
It is. The sneak attack is allowed to be ranged. The first description of the sneak attack in the 3E book is a sneak attack with a crossbow.
Yes, which would make the thief a whole lot more, give him a lot more utility in combat. I would have.
I want to write up an adventure where Fawn plays a thief who can backstab with a pickaxe.
I've let people backstab with a ballista.
I have backstabbed with a ballista.
We used invisibility, we used silence on it, and the giant didn't know it was there. Clank.
And the thief took the shot.
As long as the thief pulled the rope.
Yeah, I was going to say the thief took the shot, right? That's pretty cool.
And their description here on page 57 about, it'll do no good to backstab the thief in the ankle. It's just not going to be as effective. I'm sorry. There's an Achilles tendon down there for a reason.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll let it be effective.
Ouch.
You really hobble somebody with that and bleed out.
Exactly. There's all kinds of places that you can do something. They never should have called it sneak attack for 3E anyway.
Okay, what should they?
It should have been called vital strike.
Okay.
Because
that covers
that's
a lot
all
of
it
ground.
is. You're training yourself to damage someone as grievously as possible with whatever utility weapon you have.
Yep.
Whether it's I'm doing it with a 2x4, I'm doing it with a greatsword, I'm doing it with a short bow, a long bow, a dagger, whatever. The wand of fireballs I crammed up his ass and then triggered because I'm a thief. I'm a mage thief who backstabs with a wand of fireballs, and I get bonus damage on that.
I gotta give you wooden daggers for vampires more often.
Oh god!
But, I mean, that's the kind of thing that you can do, and it doesn't hinge on. Well, you're not invisible. You're not sneaking. You're not behind him. You're not. Flanking is what they brought it in for them. And the flanking gets it too much because that goes way into the overkill of every time that the thief flanks you with someone, he's suddenly sticky, stab, bonus damage, and
that's too much. Right. It has to be unnoticed. That's something that has to happen.
And a lot of people forget that in the heat of battle, he can be unnoticed a lot better.
Yeah. Well, there's ways to drop from notice. It just means you're attacking instead of every round. You're attacking every other round if you're successful.
Yeah, that's why a thief's best friend is a ring of it or a potion of invisibility, because now all of a sudden he can get the backstab, almost at
or
will.
Proficiency, prestidigitation.
Yes.
Jazz hands, stick.
Ring of invisibility and
Did you just jazz hands?
Yes, I jazz hands and backstab you to your face with the dagger. So
backstab you in the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, that is the other thing.
Yeah.
Backstab, I don't think needs to be just from the back. It needs to be surprise situation.
Yeah, exactly.
When you were unknown or unaware of.
Mm-hmm. No, that's my whole caveat right there.
Hey, the mob does that real good.
Yeah. Does the thief actually is the opponent the thief is trying to backstab or sneak attack? Is he within the enemy's range of vision? If he's attacking from the rear flanks or directly behind, of course he's going to get it. But if the problem is, it's like I've always said, especially when you're using miniatures and crap like that, is that it is really hard for a thief to set up a backstab. It always has been. I mean, I've played in power games where
I'll take that challenge for $1.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it because I've never seen if the DM's got anything on the ball and he just doesn't hand wave and say okay, blah blah blah. But unless you're like Conan sneaking up on Thulsa Doom at the end of the movie, just give him a big elbow, yeah. But yeah, I mean,
he knocked the camel out with a backstab.
Yeah, exactly.
A people's elbow.
That's hey, he was distracted by that guy in the llama in the tent. Let's be fair. For those of you who don't know that, go watch the episode. Go watch the first Conan the Barbarian and find out why he punched the camel and what is Conan looking at in that tent. We'll leave it at that. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, moving right along. Then of course, go ahead. Go ahead, come on.
I was just saying that, the 2E canonical rules, of course, are just, it's hard to get there.
Yeah, it is.
You're only going to attack every other or every third round if you can.
Right.
And then it bases on the multiplier, and in this version, the multiplier increases with whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, there are interesting magic items that can be used by thieves to be their base damage weapon, which makes their backstab a lot more vital and threatening than I backstab with a dagger. ×4 of a D4 damage. Yay!
Yeah, no,
or even their short sword, or quarterstaff, or whatever it is they're doing. But anything that a thief has in his weapon list should be something they're allowed to backstab with. In my book,
I agree.
Even the ranged weapons.
Well, let's put it this way. I would go as far as probably a long sword or quarterstaff, but nothing bigger than that. But I fully understand what you're saying, because it doesn't have to be a dagger or a short sword, a small weapon. I mean, it can be a long sword. It can be a broadsword. It can be, as long as the thief has that shot where he can get into the vitals, where he's aiming, and he doesn't bork the roll. Sure, But what was I going to say? Yeah, by the book, it's always hard to set up. That's the problem. That's always been the problem with backstab.
But it should be that way.
Yeah. It has to be a certain set of circumstances for the thief to achieve in order to get near the enemy or behind it. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to end up making a proficiency for thieves. Call it Vital Strike or Sneak Attack, and basically make it like the 3rd edition rules, but it's one of those where,
put it in your Skills and Powers edition of a thief.
Exactly, and that makes the thief that much more deadly in combat, and the thief doesn't even have to get in a melee range to do it.
Right.
Hey, pull out your short bow and just pop. Shoot him right in the side, aim for the kidneys, aim for the bowels, and hopefully you hit him there. Hit him in that squishy parts.
Now, would you go for just like they have the specialty rangers who get their species enemy of like aberrations and whatnot, to be a person, if I'm going to be the adventurer thief kit or troubleshooter thief kit who's gone in for, and we're in a great war against the Illithids and their beholder masters.
Okay.
So we train in not backstabbing elves and dwarves and humans. We train in backstabbing the beholder. They say that you can't. As long as I can get underneath that sucker where its eyes can't see me, I can backstab it.
That's tough, because beholders have almost a 360 range of view, between its eye stalks, which go every which way. Oh, from the bottom? Are you kidding?
That's your backstab target for a beholder.
That's its back.
If it had a crotch, but okay. Well, the funny part is the gold box.
Did you ever see? Go ahead. Didn't you ever see Mr. Incredible fighting that robot with the lava? We managed to get the robot going under the robot.
Movie? You talking about the Incredibles?
Yeah, the Incredible.
I've never seen the Incredibles.
Yeah, they got it. Well, where he's fighting. He's fighting this one robot that went rogue, and it's so powerful. He finally figures out to go under it every time it moves. He moves, pulls out the bottom. He goes up in there, and the thing is going boom, 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 boom. And finally he goes, hey, he pops the top off, hey, over here, and he gets him to pull out its own brain.
Hey, that's called outsmarting your opponent. I like that.
Exactly, but that's what he's talking about with the beholder.
Yeah,
Brian.
Yes.
Brian, you need to watch The Incredibles simply because I want you to get on this podcast. I want you to scream, baby, where's my super suit?
Okay, I will do so.
I will guarantee, however, that it is worth keeping a leash on whatever your backstab rule is in your game, just to avoid some of the pitfalls that other editions discovered to their detriment. Like when I was editing RPGA adventures that were being sent in by writers who would say things like, 9 thieves surround the party members in an alley and attack, which means that you're potentially setting up a 6-way or 9-way flank.
Yeah, you're setting up
attack, actual classed thieves instead of a thief and about 5 NPC thugs who aren't classed.
Setting up
that's
an
instant kill.
That's what you're doing.
That's a backstab gangbang blender that just turns into body parts flying everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I know our party went like I said, that damn flanking rule on my party got took out in an alley by 5 halflings.
When it comes to their ability to do burst damage, should be one of the most deadly one-on-one combatants to generate single-shot slug damage.
Right.
Through their backstab ability, however it's generated.
Right.
Versus, the wizard who gets to do the area of effect, I can kill lots of things, or the fighter who can say, I can kill lots of things several times.
Yep. I agree.
The thief their pocket niche is to be able to go "Gah!" and make something fall dead.
Yeah.
Or near it.
Okay, we could go on all night like this, but you tell us what thieves can and cannot do, and you can. So Full On Gamer can give you another
so he can tell you
15, 20 minutes on the next show about it at THACOshammer@gmail.com.
Now you're gonna do what?
Well, now we're going to do the flying nut shot. That's the next version of backstep. The flying nut shot. You do the animated leaping sideways. Bang.
Okay, on that note, we go into DM Brainstorm.
Now you tell me what you know.
Only the infinity of the depths of a man's mind can really tell the story.
What are you, a wizard, a genius?
DM Brainstorm. DM Brainstorm.
I'm going to start by rolling across the rocks like Captain Kirk and bring up my hand crossbow in his crotch and pull both triggers.
He's already got
-4.
He already got the shirt off. We are going to design a Thieves Guild.
And I'm going to use the Thieves Handbook to assist us with this. Because we can come up with all kinds of interesting characters every which way Sunday.
Get your favorite drink, smoke them if you got them, and
settle in, folks. This might take a little while. But
yep. Okay, let's start with some basics.
Okay.
Corey, where? Big city, small town, village?
I want a big city, a big old city.
Okay.
Old city, so it's an old Thieves Guild?
We can do a new city built on the ruins of an old city.
Okay. You mean like Chicago?
Or as soon as somebody rebuilds Detroit, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna happen. Anyway,
Chinese.
Yeah, they could, but anyway.
Which is Chicago? Isn't Chicago or is it Atlanta the city that you can go like underground and see the old?
That's Atlanta. Yeah, that's Atlanta.
The old city. Okay.
Yeah, but Atlanta and Chicago are both like that. Chicago.
So the Thieves Guild runs tours underneath the city.
No, that's their highway. That's how they get from one side of town.
Exactly.
To the
other. Exactly. Highway, which they call the Thieves Highway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so we've got the city on top. We've got the Undercity, which is what the Thieves Guild uses, and their rivals, such as the
No. What you have is the city. The sewers and the old...
No. Sewers are underneath the Undercity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're still using the old sewers from the original city.
Yeah.
Corey, we know you and sewers.
Yeah.
You mean my mouth, or...
No. How you run sewers.
Oh, yes. I mean...
how your players decide to try to use the sewers for something, and, they started running into things and losing limbs.
Yep.
And gangrene sets in. For those who don't know, folks, go back in the show about somewhere in the 60s and 70s where Corey starts explaining his exploits.
Yes, his players' exploits.
Yeah. All right, so guildmaster of this guild. I'm thinking a twist.
Okay.
Non-human?
No, I'm thinking a dirty church. I'm thinking a priest.
Oh. Okay.
Right on.
Oh, let's just make the twist a complete one. Let's make this a pretzel. The leader of the Thieves Guild is actually a priest of law, or a law and justice.
I like it.
Yeah.
Who can twist this in his mind and justify doing this?
Yeah, lawful evil alignment.
For his God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the ultimate justifier.
Yeah, but he still thinks he's good.
He thinks he's doing right, but he's also got a part of him that wants to acquire power, political power, financial power.
Right.
He wants to achieve rank within the church. Yeah.
Both Vito and Michael Corleone thought they were doing good.
Yeah, they did.
That's right.
Yep. But okay.
So we've got an old city on top, a new city on top of an old city. On top of the sewers,
correct?
With a guildmaster who is a church of law head priest,
right?
Okay,
and he's basically I'm not going to go so far as to say he's doing the Palpatine thing, but he's definitely got one face when he's doing church business, but when he's doing Thieves Guild business, he's on the other end of it.
Does it turn around like
So is
Gemini
his-
and Thunder
so
the
is his-
Barbarian?
So is
Oh,
his
God.
thieves guild a little bit more, a whole lot more spy master type thieves guild as opposed to transfer of property type thieves guild?
Okay, let's break that down.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
a whole lot
How far
more
is there-
Lady Hawk type approach there.
Oh, you mean
How
like
far is the-
David Warner and Lady Hawk? You know, his not Dave. Yeah, it was David Warner, wasn't it? The High Priest.
No, that was John Wood.
Oh, John Wood. Thank you. Okay, I was thinking, just
card.
like most thieves guilds, they have departments. They have their spy
What's their
department.
reach?
Yeah, exactly. Because they've got their fingers in almost every pie in the city. You know, they get their
mafia. The
Go ahead.
mafia is okay. Here's this guy runs the numbers. This guy does the prostitution. This guy does extortion. You know,
So
that kind of thing.
here's a question to ask then. Is it the only thieves guild in the city is his
Absolutely
thieves
not.
guild? Or is this each of those pieces of the pie is a different guild and they don't tolerate trespass in their zone?
and there's
like the cat burglars are the cat burglars, and you damn well better not be trying to grift in the city streets.
Now we're getting into gang war.
Yeah, that's where that can go really quick.
Yeah.
I was thinking in terms of this guild, in this guild with the cities, I would say there's like smaller guilds spread out, but their power has been greatly reduced because of the unique position of this guild master. Because he can go after those thieves guilds under the auspices of his religion. Never mind that by doing so he gains more power by reducing the other guilds for his guild to ascend, which is why he's sort of gotten to the number one position to begin with. I know.
Is he doing this power gaming thing the Palpatine way, or is he doing it the Bruce Wayne way? I'm going to be in charge of all crime. I know there's going to be crime in my Gotham, but I'm going to be in charge of all of it.
Yeah, that's how it.
The Red Hood thing. Yeah.
In Harry Dresden novels, Johnny Marcone is exactly that kind of guy. He's the one who's in charge of all the crime that goes on, all the illegitimate operations within Chicago. But yeah, and he doesn't really tolerate someone trying to move in on his action. That's when he can get ruthless.
Does this guy is this guy the face of the guild?
No, he can't be.
No, yeah, because no one, because
there's no face of this guild because the guild shouldn't exist, especially in a city. If the major church is a church of law, there can't be a face of the guild.
Sure, there can. They do a Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's
the Kaiser Soze. The face of the Thieves Guild is the Kaiser Soze.
Right.
Well,
Everything
Kaiser
is blamed
Soze,
on
by
Kaiser
definition,
Soze.
has no face. No one knows what Kaiser Soze looks like, so by calling him a face is erroneous.
I would say,
that's the point.
Hold on. Let's take an example from Mystara. The Kingdom of the Thieves in Mystara is someone who is basically a fortune teller. That's her nom de guerre, if you will. Not nom de guerre, nom de plume, if you will. But no one knows that she's the Thieves Guild, even though she's like an 18th level thief or something like that. But my whole thing is that, okay, this guy, this guy is the big boss, but he's got one guy below him, just below him, who everybody else thinks is the big boss. And that guy takes his orders from the man in the shadows, if you will. And
here's what I was getting at.
Okay.
The reason I asked about the face. Have you ever seen the graphic novels or the comic books, The Goon?
No, I haven't seen
it takes place in a world of like the 1930s or so, where this one town, this one guy manages to raise zombies.
Okay.
And the guy named the Goon is like muscle for this one mob.
Okay.
Him and his partner, and they end up fighting the guy's zombies a lot and other supernatural forces.
Okay.
Now, the Goon is the leader of the mob, but nobody knows that because they think the old man is. Unbeknownst to anybody but him, the old man is dead for some reason or another. But he's not telling that anybody. He's just saying he gets the orders from the old man.
Exactly.
But he's actually running the show.
Yeah, exactly. Except in this case, the guild master isn't dead, but the guy he has who basically runs the
He's
operations.
doing an Iron Man 3, the Mandarin.
Yes, the Mandarin. Thank you, Full-On. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. He has.
There is no face, but I mean, to other thieves and other miscreants, you got to go talk to the boss.
Yeah, but that's the number 2 guy. That's the number 2 guy who they think is the boss, but he's not.
He is number 6. Yes.
Yeah.
Who's number 1, that kind of thing. It works out the same way.
Right. Which is what I was going to say. Okay.
What about organization? Now, are we going to do like the socialist communist thing where they have cells that can't be traced back to the main guy?
Are they specialist groups, or are they diversified groups who can handle all the business, but they are like territorial within the town? Or do they have a blanket coverage across the town? All the guilds do, but they are strictly limited to their scope of operation.
That's pretty
cat burglars have free run of the town to cat burgle, but they better not be mugging. The muggers can mug, but they better not, be going into people's houses to start lifting things, or doing those other odds and ends. Or the pickpockets can work every street from High Street to the dock streets, but and so forth.
Right.
They can separate their territories by craft, or separate their territories physically by zones of the town.
I would do by zones.
Yeah, I'd say zones.
That way you can get some kind of variety in each zone, depending on how you want to break it down. Maybe you want the pickpockets more in this section of town than in this section of town.
Well, obviously the markets, the docks, the markets, and the churches.
Yeah, I would say it's like this. Okay, Shadows, you got the guy who everybody thinks is the boss that all the other members deal with. And then you have, below them, you have a council that is responsible for each one of the zones in the city.
Who reports to the boss, who reports to the actual boss.
Exactly.
Very, very Moriarty-like.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking here.
So this Thieves Guild also handles the smuggling for the town.
Yeah. Each one has each one of the leaders, if you will, each one has their specific area of it. Exactly, their specific area, but they also kind of, I hate to use the word, but they sort of cross-pollinate a little bit in order to, get whatever they need done, get if they have to do something major. And like one's enforcement, one is like the cat burglars, one is like the smash and grab guys, one's like one's
here's
like
the assassins, here's the smugglers, here's the drug traders, here's the slave traders.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So
and they're all cross trained to a certain extent.
Yeah,
because certain jobs call for like 2 or 3 skills.
Exactly. So
like say a second story man or a safe cracker.
Right. So then they have teams or squads or whatever word you want to use, and that's the next level down, which is
crew.
Yeah, the crew, exactly. You've got basically a disparate group of people with different skills or different areas, different social areas they can use, and you have all of that being the worker ants, if you will, going hither and yon, doing what they're doing.
I don't think they need to be that cross-pollinated. They don't need to be 100% segregated, but they don't need to be 100% cross-pollinated either.
Okay.
You're not going to have the high society grifters working in the dockside. You're not going to have the the smugglers away from the docks or the under sewer regions where they're going to have access to transport, relay, and storage.
Okay.
And the fences will be in one area.
Yeah, merchant markets, and the pickpockets will be working with the bards and tumblers and stuff, and all those other front type things.
Right. Now, with the area being, of course, with this guild being organized as it is, I would say this guild would be hell on freelancers. Absolute murder on freelancers.
So what kind of justice are we talking about? Anything and everything?
I would say if some guy comes in from out of town and just starts operating willy-nilly in the town and doing things, on his own agenda or for his own reasons, I say the first time he does it, and of course in the guild has a really good intelligence network, they'll find out within like 2, 3, 5 jobs at the most. And they'll find this guy, and they'll visit this guy, and they'll say, look, either this is what we're going to do. You either join us, you leave, or we kill you. And if the guy continues to just thumbs his nose at him, continues to operate, it escalates. It's then either
do they force you to join, or can you buy a license to operate?
There's another option.
That is an interesting thing, because I'm assuming, because a lot of thieves guilds have a beggar faction.
Yes, they do.
I've heard of licenses to beg.
Yeah, licenses to beg.
In fact, cities would sell them, and maybe the Thieves Guild gets a cut of that.
Okay. I just finished reading the Gord of Greyhawk series recently. Or rereading it, I should say. God, I've had those books since they came out back in the mid-'80s. But the whole thing is that with that, once... basically, there's one part in the story where Gord goes into the local Thieves Guild. He's been a part of the Beggars Guild for a long time, but they basically got run over and destroyed by the Thieves Guild. And he went to the Thieves Guild and said, I want to join you. And basically, he proved his abilities and whatnot, by making the guy who's in charge of a desk look absolutely stupid, until another higher ranking thief came out and saw what he could do and said, okay, you want in? Okay, here's what you do, and here are the rules, and this thing and that. Yeah,
your mission, since we've chosen you're going to accept it, is
exactly. So my whole thing is, yeah, you can buy your way in, but it's going to be rather exorbitant the way I look at it. Yeah, for
sure. At a minimum, you're talking 50% of your take.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Possibly more.
Yeah, for like X amount of time, then it goes down to like the normal 20%.
And remember, some Thieves Guilds offer benefits, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you get
fences. Like their own fences.
Yeah, fences. If you need a way out of the city, you'll have free run.
Some even have like life
get out of jail assistance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Either through the front door or the back door.
Right.
Yep.
They have. Yeah. How
we've arrested this guy 17 times. We've never released him. We've arrested him 17 times. He just keeps showing up on the street again.
Okay. Speaking of that, there's another
Corey. Big. Okay, Corey. Big question. Got a big city here. How deep is the fix in?
How deep is the fix in?
Is it a religious... That's easy answer. Since it's a religious leader, is the leader of the Thieves Guild. Is it a religious town? Is it a military town? Or is it a transport town?
Sounds like a transport town with the docks and stuff.
I would definitely say that, it goes pretty deep. You have essentially... You have a leader who is part of the Church of Law, which means at his command, if anything, if he's as high as he actually is, if he's anywhere in that church, he's going to have paladins at his command.
Littlefinger.
Yeah, and then 6 months later, you wonder why the paladin doesn't have any powers. Because you got duped, my son.
No, for example, listen, guys, I'm in the guild hall, and I'm talking to my sergeants or my capos. Broad Street and Sword Avenue are losing money because we have another Thieves Guild moving in, something called the Dead Rabbits. Okay, no problem. He goes back to work the next day. Paladins, I want you to double your watch on Sword Avenue. Watch out for thieves. Boom. Problem taken care of.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has pretty much control over this city.
Right.
As far as the fix going in, you're going to have capos, and you're going to have the higher level thieves who are in this town are going to have their fingers in little pies, because essentially what the capo is going to do is going to say, hey, boss, I got a big shipment of beholderized coming in from an adventure, and I know they're illegal in the city, but they're going to be coming through the West Gate. I'm going to drop them off at the Drunken Clam. Okay, no problem. The cleric goes back to his paladins and says, I need you all to stay clear of the Drunken Clam. I'm going to have an investigative group being there. I need you to keep an eye on this area totally away from the Drunken Clam. So you're going to have a fix that's pretty much going to be way in depth.
Okay. Here's an interesting question for you. Is this a wet city or a dry city?
Oh, I'd say it
has
then we
get into
it has to be
rum running
wet.
and stuff.
It has to be both. I mean,
Well, there's smuggling going. There's
both.
Everywhere is a city. There's smuggling. So there's people with money who want stuff that somebody in charge says you can't have, or you have to pay all these taxes on. And either it's something you normally would have, and they just want to get it without paying the taxes, which is how they stay rich, or it's something that they're told they can't have that they want anyway, and they're just going to take. So smuggling always has a place.
I was kind of AFK. Did we establish a rival for these guys?
I was getting to that.
We're working on it.
I mean, I think it's one of these where the way this guild has gone. It's basically beaten down the other guild. It's risen to the top to its ascendancy because of the dual position that the actual man pulling the strings has.
And there's one small group who has moved into this town that this freaking cleric is so pissed off that he throws glasses across the table when he finds out a shipment has been stolen out from under him, or a smuggling agreement has been reached with this other group. He cannot find them, he cannot catch them, and it's because that they're psionists.
Ooh, I like this.
The cleric has no control over psionics that can literally blend into walls, can literally make guardsmen not see them, and can literally teleport a dimension door onto the roof when the coppers are coming.
And all of a sudden, the Thieves Guild get an adventuring party hired to go down and fix it.
Exactly.
But then of course, the party finds out that maybe things aren't exactly what they seem.
So let's say that since this is a new city on top of an old city on a port, let's go old hat.
All right,
then
I'm
the
out of here, guys. I gotta
psionists
go.
aren't coming in from outland, and they're not coming in from the ocean. They're coming from beneath.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. We're going to cross the screens here in a second.
We're not going to cross the screens because we're going to the screens and the streams. We're not going to cross because we're going to do something different.
Okay.
We'll make them other things. Let's say that this Thieves Guild of Psionicists are not Drow, not Illithids, Darrow.
Darrow.
A Darrow Thieves Guild is coming through the sewers and the Undercity.
Okay. Well, they would have to...
And the insane ones are the Psionicists, so...
they would have to be... If not good aligned, neutrally aligned at the worst, because they see that basically they found out. Basically, one of them is is their Princess Leia on the Tantive 4. They found out who's running things and just how much of a grasp this guy has. Now he's not a high.
Make that the merchants.
Well, he's not a high priest in the actual. Hierarchy of the church, but he is at least in the upper third.
And I'd make it a three-pronged faction conflict thing.
Okay.
Have an actual opposition force of Thieves Guild, the Psionicist Darrow in the under reaches.
Okay.
And you have the third tier is the legit. I'm a legitimate businessman. The legitimate businessmen in church organizers who are aware that this massive thief problem is going on, and they have this Kaiser Soze threat that no one can ever pin down, are actively trying to make it not work, and they're trying to intervene, and they are the good faction trying to undo two rival thieves guilds actually having the gang war.
Okay.
Across the entire spectrum.
Okay, so that's the third leg of the tripod. Okay, I'm down with that.
Now, here's a question.
Okay.
After all this is done, head guy's a priest of law, right?
Yeah.
Let's say Forgotten Realms. Helm.
Tyr.
Yeah. Helm would be.
But I'm thinking. What does his god think of all these shenanigans, and how's he going to deal with that?
The minute you're a priest who's a thief, you're actually worshiping Mask.
No, but that's
no matter who else temple you're standing in, you're worshiping Mask.
Right, but Helm is going to have some say about it.
Right. Well, the problem is that this guy hasn't done anything quite yet that he's stepping outside of Helm's purview. This guy, he's
okay, if you take the Christian viewpoint on this, God is God and God knows all. That would apply to these guys too.
Yeah.
It's at least in their portfolio, they would know all.
Well, the thing is that, yeah, that's the whole thing. That's sort of the tipping point when he starts thinking more of himself than actually upholding or enforcing the law. He's more interested in using the law to increase his own power.
Maybe
That's
maybe
the
at
line
the
he's on
beginning
right
he
now.
was maybe at the beginning he did this just to keep the
Well,
evil
again,
influences in
if
line.
if he's running this as hardcore, say, lawful neutral, doesn't matter. Not outside of his alignment, totally within legits.
Yeah,
he is using the law, and he's exerting power over others through the law. They got no problem with that, even if he's doing Helm's Law. No problem. And that also means that he should have, in his purview of whatever he's Thieves Guilding, he will have super hard, strict, and fast rules of things that his Thieves Guild will not do. Which the Darrow, being Darrow, really could give a rat's ass about. So perhaps they are not the one doing the humanoid or the sentient slaving. Perhaps they're not the ones doing the hard drugs or something like that, or child,
I keep thinking
baby
that
elf child
like
pornography. I don't know.
Right.
Wow.
Like I said, if he starts out lawful neutral, and he did this just basically to keep the bad influence in the town under wraps. Under wraps, because he did not
serving
like
the greater
it,
good instead of leeching off everything.
Right. But after a while, he starts getting the power, and he likes the power, and he loses. All of a sudden, you got Breaking Bad.
Right.
You really do.
Yeah. This guy basically. Let's just going a little further back in the history and the ascendance of this guild. He came on, and he saw that he basically came in, and Helm told him, make law out of this. Helm told him directly to do this. And he saw that the majority of the crime and poverty and all the bad things going on were because all of these thieves guilds, let's say about 6 or 7, were constantly killing each other. Is
this place called Roanapur?
What's that? What's that?
If he's laughing, he gets it.
Oh yeah, that's why I know what it means.
Black Lagoon. No.
Oh God!
Watch anime.
Oh, okay. So he came in, and it took him several years, or not several, a decade at least, but he cleaned the town up and started to make it prosperous again. Along that line, he decided, I'm not just going just for the sake of law. I'm going to get something out of this too.
That's where he started changing.
That's where he starts tipping. He starts
tipping the line,
dancing on the line, and he's about to step over. And as soon as he
steps, that is the point when Helm says, "Okay, you're screwed."
Exactly, and that's when, once he does certain actions or starts certain actions that's on that road to evil, that's when Helm says, okay.
I'm going to say that the first thing that he's got in his possession is something of non-detection. Otherwise, he is pipelining his heresy directly to his deity whenever he prays. And
I'm saying
he is fronting as a... He's still fronting. He may be crossing lines, and he's slowly getting picked up by Mask, whether he knows it or not.
Yeah.
But Helm is still his god. He's still doing the work. He's still doing the job.
Right.
But he's got non-detection on since he started becoming more self-serving.
Does that work with gods?
Why not? They're bound by being avatars.
I know that, but I'd rather not have it work with gods, but he uses it for his other worshippers.
But again, this is one of those things where it works on gods when gods want them to work on gods, because Mask would start influencing what Helm sees.
Well,
then you got a god war.
Well, no. Instead of Mask just coming out and taking this guy, he allowed to find a certain item that allows him to deceive others. Or even if you really want to get talking about Forgotten Realms, how about Cyric?
Yeah.
If you really want to do it. If you really want to push it
into the Cyric realm. Yeah.
That would be in his purview, because the Cyric is the god of lies. Yeah. You know, he makes look Captain Crunch or Captain Kangaroo, you know. And so it would be a minor artifact.
Kaiser Kangaroo?
Wow. So it would be like a minor artifact that can hide his alignment. But to everyone else, he's still lawful neutral, and he's still doing Helm's or doing these
of deception.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Name for the item: Vestments of Deception.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, there you got, folks. The bones of a thieves guild.
Yep.
So go forth, use it. Tell us how it worked out. THACOshammer@gmail.com. Gentlemen, we have talked and talked. We must close this splat book.
Yes,
I will
we
say
must.
goodbye for Corey, who had to leave us a bit ago.
Yes,
so
he did.
goodbye for Corey, and say goodbye, Philon.
Goodbye, Gamer Nation. I'm going to go sign in from leave now.
Geez, you were still
Brian?
on leave. Okay. All right. Remember, folks, things are named when you're dealing with thieves' guilds. Remember that.
Heavy.
Count your pockets,
And
count your fingers.
That's right. And I'm DM Glenn saying I'm counting my fingers. Well, I'm telling you, we'll be back when the hammer comes down again on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye. Oh, man. But thieves.
Yeah.
But, you know, that whole... I started to get... THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.